Welcome back. We continue with Good Morning Kenya. We now move on to have a quick look at what the papers have for us. Kama kawaida, 4 different dailies. I have a copy of the Daily Nation and the People Daily. Let me just run you through the front pages. A lot of pictorials have been featured here on the front page of the Daily Nation, with the main read saying Uhuru cuts Ruto power in reshuffle. And they go on to say that DP's allies are the biggest casualties in the cabinet changes. Charles Keter moved from the Energy Ministry to Devolution as Labour Minister Simon Chelugui loses key departments, that is social protection and pension, as well as senior citizens. Now, that is the main read right there. But looking at this as the stories that have been featured here on the header, number 1, cheaper electricity at last. In the next 4 months or so, we are set the cost of power rather is set to go down by a third. That is a story that has been covered here on the back page, which is good news for us as a people. I mean, in the recent past, we've just been seeing prices of commodities skyrocketing, always on an upward trajectory. But as of in the next 4 months or so, the prices are going to go down by a third. And a good example that has been put here is that consumers who normally spend 500 bob on power on a monthly basis, they are expected to start paying at least 330 Kenya shillings by the end of December, just to show you how much the power will have reduced by then. On to some health is that the 10 million target when it comes to COVID-19 vaccination might be elusive, in as much as we have acquired quite a huge number of vaccines in the country, but still they are not enough. And one of the reasons that has been noted by the CS was the apartheid that is in some rich countries, which have already started rolling out the vaccination process on children, while there are other countries in third world, middle and third world countries that haven't even started vaccinating their adult population. Politics still finds its way here on the front page, with ODM leader Raila Odinga firing warning shots at Wanjigi for opening offices without the go-ahead from their the party head as well as the headquarters. And ODM's Raila Odinga has threatened to discipline businessman Jimmy Wanjigi for opening parallel party offices, escalating the conflict between the tycoon and the party leader Raila Odinga. That is the Daily Nation. Briefly to take you through the front page of the People Daily. Pretty much the same stories that have been featured on the Daily Nation. Uhuru directive to reduce power costs again has been featured there. Coming to the main story here is Ruto men lose say in the cabinet reorganization. Again, a story that was on the front page of the Daily Nation. And finally, Kagwe hits out at rich nations over vaccine, the apartheid, quote unquote, that he attributed to some of these countries that have started vaccinating children, while the other countries that haven't even vaccinated their adult population. Ray.
Let's start off with the Star. So the front page of the Star is talking about, the completion, or rather the near completion of the expressway, and the timelines are said that the president is going to be commissioning this particular expressway April 2022. Apparently, the project is 70% complete, and once complete, Kenyans will be charged between 100 shillings and 1,500 shillings. So the president has delegated also when it comes to matters of politics. Remember, it's a run-up towards the 2022 general elections, and we have been seeing a few changes here and there when it comes to the political scene. So there's an article here, actually the big read on the Star this morning, is that Uhuru plans to corner Oka chiefs to back Raila. So on Tuesday, we saw Raila meeting up with Mount Kenya billionaires and tycoons. Well, if it was not a political season, we'd just say it was a meeting between factions and persons who have, goals, or rather mutual goals. But we all know that, it's a political season. So now the president has delegated the task to Mount Kenya tycoons and allies after the first attempt crashed. And we're talking about that particular meeting that President Uhuru Kenyatta had last month with members of the OCA team, or alliance, so to speak, to just try and, come up with an alliance to support, or rather rally support for Raila Odinga there. Now the plan has changed, and the president has delegated that to Mount Kenya tycoons. We're going to be giving you details, but in a sneak peek review, that is what happened, just borrowing from what happened on Tuesday. Also, we have a story here saying that Kangata is in a comfortable lead in governor race, and we'll be giving you details. Remember, this is what has been captured by the scribes this morning in this particular daily. So also the mini reshuffle, Keter Chelagui stripped in the latest cabinet changes, as well as that particular article that I mentioned to you, rather that particular fact, after telco giant Safaricom released their report and their capital injection to the financial year 2021-2022. So Kenyans processed 300 loans and per second, 300 loans per second in 2021. And 2 billion in Fuliza per day. Now we want to have a listen into the new CS, so to speak, of Defense, Eugene Wamalwa. Let's have a listen in. Well, there's a lot of talk in regard to what was happening there. Was it power play? Was it, does politics have to do with that particular mini reshuffle there, where President Uhuru Kenyatta, overhauled the energy ministry by moving CS and PS to other dockets hours after directing full implementation of the report. So now we have been dealing with an issue of drought, and a few Kenyans spread across the country, staring at starvation. So I think in his last act as the devolution CS, so to speak, Eugene Wamalwa is flagging off a food, food to those particular persons and in the various counties. Let's have a listen in, and this is happening at Uhuru Park.
Vaccines that will go towards the affected pastoralist communities. So though it is a difficult situation we are facing as a country, we want to appreciate the support and friendship of our international partners. For me, I'm very, very humbled this morning to perform my last duty as the minister in charge of the development of the ASAL region of this country. And I want to thank His Excellency the President for reassigning me new duties in the defense docket. Indeed, it's a very humbling experience to be moved to such a sensitive and challenging docket, and I take this opportunity to sincerely thank His Excellency the President for the confidence he has shown in me, and I pray that the good Lord makes me equal to the task ahead. For the governors that I have worked with, for the period I've been in the devolution and ASAL's docket, I want to thank them. And I want to really particularly thank the second-term governors who really laid the foundation stone for devolution in our country. And in particular, thank the governors from the ASAL counties. I know that they are facing huge challenges, including the drought that we are facing now. But we will continue working with them. And I look forward to working with my colleagues who are taking over the docket of devolution and the ASAL. I'm very happy that my colleague who has taken over the ASAL State Department, P.S. Kobia, is a very experienced public servant. And she also comes from a very unique county that is green on one side and semi-arid on the other side, the Igembe, Tigania side. Meru is a very unique county, and I believe Professor Kobia is very well placed to take over this docket and to work with the ASAL counties. I wish her well, and we will continue giving her all the support. I look forward to now moving to the security sector. I have worked very well with the governors, and I look forward to working with the generals now. Asante sana.
How many tons are you now in off?
Yes.
And what does it contain?
Yeah, what we have here is animal feed. You do remember we flagged off over 8,000. Now today we're doing another 8,000. Next week we'll be doing over 16,000. In total we're looking at 32,000 that will go to all the ASAL affected counties. Apart from that, we are also moving food now, relief food to the affected counties, and from next week the food will be distributed in all the counties, right from Turkana all the way to Tana River. So we are looking forward to working with the affected counties, but also urging the counties as our first line of defense in a disaster situation like this to also do their part. So it's going to be a partnership between the national government, the county governments, and our international partners. And today, Badawi, we just want to thank you once more and the UN family for the support we continue receiving, and assure Kenyans that the government will not spare any effort or resource towards supporting the affected counties with our partners who are here with us today.
Now you have stayed in this revolution for many years and you have experience.
Yes.
What advice are you giving to the incoming CS?
I think one of the most important things that is actually I would say the oxygen of devolution is good intergovernmental relations. I'm very, very proud that as I leave the devolution docket, intergovernmental relations are at an all-time best. We have never achieved this, and the incoming CS, my brother Keter, I wish him well, and I would urge continued improvement of these good intergovernmental relations so that all county governments know that the national government is not there to compete with them but to complement what they're doing. There are no Kenyans who belong to the national government and Kenyans who belong to the county governments. We are serving the same Kenyans. We are only two levels of government serving the same people. So we must continue working together. We must continue strengthening the partnership between the national government and the county governments and our development partners, as well as private sector. We must see how this partnership can make devolution work better for us now and in future. For governors who are in the ASAL counties, I want to say that this constitution that was promulgated right here to Uhuru Park over 10 years ago, and this president who has overseen the implementation of this constitution has changed the fortunes of our borderland counties, and they have been moved from the borderlines to the center of our national development. In 1965, we looked at the ASAL region as a low potential region. But today, the ASAL regions hold the highest potential when it comes to energy, renewable energy. The windmills of Turkana that are there today. When you look at the solar, the potential that is there. You look at the oil that is in Turkana and the water aquifers we have discovered. This region holds the future. It's like the proverbial saying in the Bible, the stone that the builders cast away has become the cornerstone. And the ASAL counties hold huge potential, both in food security. Once we complete the dams, we'll create new bread baskets in these ASAL counties that were looked at as low potential in 1965. In 2021, they hold great potential. And it's been such a pleasure working with these governors, the FCDC, the Chair Ali Roba, my good friend Gulaid, our partners from the UN, the EU, the USAID. We want to say we're really humbled to have had the opportunity to serve. Thank you. Asante Sam.
Thank you very much.
Asante.
Now that is Cabinet Secretary Defense there, Eugene Wamalwa, speaking to us live from Uhuru Park as he just finalizes on a project that he's begun as the Devolution Cabinet Secretary. Then remember, Charles Keter is going to be taking over the Ministry of Devolution, whose Department of Arid and Semi-Arid Lands, ASAL, was moved to the Ministry of Public Service and Gender. And Eugene Wamalwa now takes over as, over the defense docket. There's been changes in the cabinet there, and these changes were also announced after a meeting between President Kenyatta as well as Keter Njoroge and the Presidential Task Force on the review of the power purchase agreements. Remember, there's been a public outcry in regard to the high cost of power. And as we were just looking at, just giving a sample of what has been making headlines in the various dailies that we have with us in studio, and that is one of the main stories that we have in this particular daily. I have the Standard and the Star. So looking at the Standard, that is what we have on the big read there. As the president moves to reduce the cost of electricity, the president wants the task force report implemented within 3 months to cushion Kenyans. And it's also said that Keter and PS Njoroge had expressed reservations about the practicality of the Ngumi team's recommendation. Now we're going to be following up on the recommendation as per what was contained in that particular task force report. So you might want to keep it KBC Channel 1 here as we focus on business. Being Thursday is a business day, so you need to catch up with my colleague Brian Kimani as soon as we're done with matters of Good Morning Kenya, as well as Betty Kiptum in the afternoon, and in the evening Cynthia Nyamai on Business Insight. You're sure going to find this story in more detail there in our subsequent bulletins there, as I've mentioned. So when you talk about the issue of the task force, it found that the major contributors to the high cost of power include a huge disparity between what Kenya Power pays KenGen and what it pays IPPs. And when I say IPPs, I mean independent power producers, with the latter appearing to be making a killing when selling electricity to Kenya Power. So what you also need to know is that Kenya Power does not generate power but distributes. It distributes power. KenGen and IPPs, those are independent power producers, generate power. And in its other findings, point out that poor planning and deep rot in the electricity sector is one of the reasons why you and I are paying top dollar, or rather top shilling, when it comes to matters of electricity. Remember, there was just a review, an upward review in the last financial year as presented in the Kenya National Bureau of Statistics report for the economic survey. It shows that, consumption of power went up during the COVID year, what we're terming 2020 to 2021, and also the increase of cost of power went up from 1 kilowatt hour from 2.2 shillings and 89 cents to 3.09 cents per kilowatt. So this also is going to affect the cost of production, and when cost of production goes up, it means you and I as consumers bear the brunt, because the manufacturer is not going to bear the full full cost of production while we are consuming the products and services. So matters of electricity, or the cost of power, really affects even how we do business, and even how much you get to spend on a few services and goods therein. So in the next 3 months, we'll wait to see if the implementation of this Ngumi task force is really going to change things as they are when it comes to cost of power. So that is one of the main stories that we have for you here in as far as the Standard is concerned. And since we're already getting into the details, I'd want to also draw your attention, and it seems matters business are taking center stage, Jane, here, with Kenyans now fulizaing. That's not English, neither is fuliza. Fuliza is Swahili. So Kenyans are fulizaing 1.2 billion shillings daily. Are you living on debt? That's a question. I think all Kenyans are, by virtue that we have, foreign loans and such, but I'm asking you on a personal level, are you living on debt? Some few weeks back, actually months back, Jane, this is what happened to me. Someone challenged me to do my value, to take stock of my value in debt. Yes. Your value in debt. You need to know how much do you owe either a SACCO, a bank, a Shylock, a friend, a brother, a mom. Look at your value in debt. And it is quite a sobering moment, Jain. Because that's when you come to understand that in as much as you are spending X, Y, Z, you are owed X, Y, Z. And it makes you, you know, just better understand, what do I need? You know, you prioritize so that you can get off debt. And I know a person who said that for them, they would never, ever take a bank loan, ever. But that's a conversation for another day when it comes to bank loans, because we have been talking here. I think on Monday there was a case that we highlighted from one of the dailies that, you know, showed that, you know, banks went and repossessed property and sold it to auctioneers, undervaluing the property. This is something that is actually happening to a majority of Kenyans when it comes, you know, those people who find themselves indebted to the banks. But the issue of debt, Kenyans are using Fuliza 1.2 billion a day. I'm talking about a day. I'm not talking about a year. I'm talking about a day.
And this is one platform only.
One.
We haven't even gotten started with the many other fintechs that are out there thriving on the backs of so many, and it's the younger population especially. And it's pretty sad because there still was a report that was put out a while back. I don't quite remember the time, but it did indicate that so many Kenyans are taking loans for basic needs. Food, to pay basic bills, not to sort of, you know, put up a project or a business. It is just for basic survival, you know? And it's a very sad situation, but it's the reality for so many people who are struggling. This goes to speak of the unemployment issue that is in the country. Underemployment also is a problem that many people don't realize until you come to realize. When it finally hits you, like, yo, I have been underemployed here for so many years and I need to do better, or I need to leave a so-and-so organization. But then again, 1.2 B a day from one platform. And you know, Fuliza is relatively very new. I don't think it's been over a couple of years since it was introduced.
It was launched in 2019.
Yes.
It was launched in 2019, while M-Shwari was launched in 2012. And what this particular report indicates is that Kenyans have opted to go for Fuliza, unlike M-Shwari. Because if you look at the performance between the year under review, that is the 2020-2021 financial year, there was, you know, this is as per the Sustainable Business Report from that particular telco. 94 billion shillings. The telco lent 94 billion shillings through M-Shwari over the same period. That's a 27% drop from 129.6 billion the previous year.
Mobile money. Can you imagine how life was before phones?
Man,
it's the same way. Looking at this story concerning electricity and you know, the prices going down, you can imagine how much pressure you get when there's no power. The need to say, ndo nakumbuka sijacharge simu, ndo nakumbuka sijafanya nini, daylight is almost running out. The pressure you get when you don't have electricity, which has now become a basic need for so many people, if I may say so, it's having such news that prices are going to go down is such a relief. It's such a relief because electricity has become a basic need.
Talk about electricity, if not even just electricity. I think the other dependency that we are cultivating in the 21st century is the internet.
Then there's that. Okay, personally, I can survive without the internet, but I would prefer to have it. It's a preference, but I can survive without.
Can you, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter?
Yes.
All that.
I can comfortably stay away from the socials.
And when you say internet, we also mean WhatsApp. Even
WhatsApp.
Like you can stay off.
I can. Comfortably.
You're mature. You are the mature peeps we are looking for. Where?
For real. I can, you know, do away with it. I would prefer to have it, but when push comes to shove.
Okay. Then the other dependency we have is of our phones.
Nayo kuwa na simu nayo ni muhimu.
You know,
communication.
Let alone the communication, it has become everything. You do your emails on your phone.
You literally.
You check your calendar, you check your time through your phone. So other than communicating, you're also doing your emails. You're also reading books. Some of us read our books online. So we are here. So having this gadget and the pain that anyone who's lost their phone knows the pain they go through. It is heartache upon heartache. Not because of how valued the gadget was. A majority of time, it's not the
inconvenience that it will come with.
The inconvenience, the sentimental value. Whoa. As they say, technology is driving the fourth industrial revolution. We are here. I read somewhere, it's an article I read, and I saw some technology that has come up to embed a microchip onto you. Like you have a microchip in your body, and it saves you all that. Like when you're going to the airport, you just scan your arm or something and all your details appear. Everything you need. You do not need to have a gadget with you. Yes. You are a gadget in yourself. So it got me thinking, what if I got hacked? What if the microchip inside me got hacked? What happens?
There's always a loophole.
The more we have technological advancements, the more we are exposing ourselves. Because I remember having a conversation right here when we were having that conversation with the Kenya Depository Insurance Corporation there, with the MD there, Mahmoud Ahmed, mentioning that hackers will always be a step ahead. Hackers will always be a step ahead. So as we're moving with technology, we also need to be alive to the risk of exposure. And remember, you leave a digital footprint every time
you go.
You are online.
Yes.
You leave a digital footprint every time you're online.
They're actually building smart homes, and there isn't any analog when it comes to the structure of the house. They get a chip embedded right here. If you want to open the door, you just beep, it opens. If you want to lock the door, beep, it opens. If you want to set off the alarm or to key in your code on the alarm, beep, you key it in. Everything is based on that finger, on that chip that is embedded right here under your skin.
Wacha niongee kama mtu wa Kanairo.
Na kila member ako nayo.
We go that direction, people will be losing their fingers and their arms, left, right, and center. I don't think we're ready for that, especially
but
here.
But like snatchiwa handbags, snatchiwa vidole.
Yeah, if wachana na handbag, if someone has the audacity to pluck your earrings from your earlobe and even your necklace from your neck, and others have the audacity of even taking away your wig, Talk about if they know I live in this maisonette somewhere XYZ and I have a chip. Yeah, they'll go with my hand or my finger for that matter. I don't think we're ready for that. But hey, that is where we're going. We might not experience it in this day and age in the next 20, 50 years. But technology is here and it's not going away. I mean, look at how we are, everything is on cashless transactions right now. That is the power of technology, Internet of Things and such. But also a report indicated that over the last financial year, and this was this was a Communication Authority report that was released beginning of this week, that indicated that for the last quarter of this year, that is 2021, it indicates that there's been an increase in cybersecurity threats, with impersonation and online fraud taking the lead. People are posing as Jain, people are posing as Regina, as Dennis, as so-and-so, and they defraud people. And also this swim swap thing, So there's more risk of exposure as we continue investing in, technological development. So people need to be wary. You need to be wary. All you need to know is that data is king. Yes. The way you go checking out videos online, answering questions online, this is all just about, they take your information. And a majority of these particular apps are not so good. So you're also exposing yourself. So be a little bit diligent, exercise some diligence when you are online, or rather when you are surfing.
Right. Now, speaking of the Communication Authority, I am focused on the future. These are the words of the new incoming Director General of the Communication Authority, that is Ezra Chiloba. And in as much as his return has been as termed as dramatic, just as his exit from the IEBC was, he says that the past is the past. It was just like a bad dream, fast forgotten. Now, as the new Director General of the Communications Authority of Kenya, he is keen to rise again. In his own words, he said, where I am right now, I am focused on the future. The past had its part and it's gone. He went on to say that for the 3 years I was away, I had great time to reflect, learn and prepare for the next challenge, and I can now state that my sword is sharp, my heart is satisfied, and my faith sure about the challenges ahead. He went on to say that some of his areas of immediate focus will be to transform the Communication Authority into a regulatory agency that puts Kenya at the front of technological change, and he is planning to build an institution that is responsive to the challenges and opportunities of the 21st century, given the ever-changing ICT space. So he's here. He's committed to the job. Of course, people have so much to say. And speaking of people having so much to say, there's even a caricature of him here that is quite interesting. Just, you know, the way we say the internet never forgets and the past will always have a shadow. We'll be able to get this image better for you, but looking at this caricature right here, you can't quite see it well, but this is a caricature of that is meant to resemble the new Director General of the Communications Authority of Kenya. This here is a building with a logo of the Communications Authority of Kenya. We'll be getting you this image in a bit. And behind him is the IEBC, which is seemingly on fire. And this being a representation of Chiloba, he seems to be hiding his hands behind his back, and there's a flame that is slowly but surely burning behind him. Let's just quickly get this image for you, so that you can see the many thoughts that people have had about the return of Ezra Chiloba right there. So you can see akona kamoto ameficha nyuma ya mgongo, IEBC on fire here as he runs towards the Communications Authority of Kenya building right there. But then again, let us not be quick to judge. Let us wait and see, you know, how his time in office as the Director General of the Communications Authority will be in the next 4 years. Great.
As I say, the past will always leave a shadow. What can I say? But I also said yesterday, a good pot cooks twice.
Inapika mara mbili ama zaidi.
If it's a durable pot, my friend, utapika na leo, kesho, kesho kutwa, mtondogo. I'm done. That's where my Swahili week done. Yeah. So yeah, about pots and such, it's neither here nor there. Now let's cross over to the Star and talk about, let's see, we might want to move away from, you know, the politics and such, though we are in the politicking season. I want you to take you to the corridors of justice. There are quite some stories there. So we're talking about how witnesses came and gave a witness account that helped solve a few murders that had made, you know, headlines. We have the Bishop Luigi's murder, as well as, you know, lawyer Willie Kimani, as well as Solomon Karanja, that principal there. So now a cop has denied being at the scene of lawyer Kimani's murder, says he was in Juja. This is AP Officer Leonard Mwangi on June 23rd, 2016, says he was at his Murera farm. So he's among one of the police officers charged with the murder of human rights lawyer Willie Kimani on Wednesday, and he's denied charges. You know, however, the court also heard that while his colleagues were writing statements in regard to the death of Kimani, his client Josephat Mwenda and driver Josephat Mwirori, he guided Officer Olesina and others to his house to conduct a search. He had rented a place in Mlolongo. The officers took the inventory of what they found on 4th July, and there was a Huawei handset on a red Masai shuka and 3 polythene bags. So the bodies of the 3 were reportedly driven to their deaths at 7 p.m. in a thicket in Mlolongo, and they were dumped in a river in Oldonyo Sabuk and recovered 1 week after. We'll still be keeping tabs on what is happening in regard to that particular case. Crossing over to still another story from the corridors of justice, we're talking about the Joey the murder of business lady Monica. So Joseph Irongo alias Joey, who was charged with the murder of businesswoman Monica Kimani, called a witness on the night she died, asking for paraffin to burn some stuff. I take that again. And this is just reports from the courts yesterday. So Joey, who is charged in the murder of businesswoman Monica Kimani, called a witness on the night she died, asking for paraffin to burn some stuff. This is according to Brian Kasaine, who told Justice Grace Nzioka that on the night of September 19th and 20th, 2018, he was asleep with his wife, when Irongo called him through a WhatsApp asking for paraffin or anything flammable, or even an air freshener. That is according to a witness who took to the stands yesterday. He added that Irongo sounded odd and hyper. So prosecution counsel Catherine Mwaneki asked whether Irongo specified what kind of stuff he wanted to burn, but he said he did not mention it. Kasaine was a friend and neighbor to Irongo and his ex-fiancée Jackie Maribe, who is a co-accused at the Royal Park Estate in Langata. What can I say?
Hakunanga siri ya watu wawili.
We'll also be keeping tabs on any development in regard to that particular, court case there, where Joseph Irongo alias Joey is charged with the murder of businesswoman Monica Kimani. To Eugene.
Yes, let me just touch on a bit of politics. It has been some of the major stories here on the Daily Nation are on that particular area. And then, of course, we've touched on the reshuffle, the mini reshuffle that was done yesterday, as was aired by the spokesman of State House. But as we bring this segment to a close, just to touch on this particular story here, concerning what is happening within the ODM party, with Raila Odinga sending warning shots to Wanjigi after he opened parallel party offices. And he just went on to say that there will be discipline measures that will be following those who will be opening parallel offices without the approval of the national office, and they will face disciplinary action as a result, because they are not supposed to do so. And this, in as much as they didn't mention names, but this was clearly targeted to Mr. Wanjigi, who has been critical when it comes to Mr. Odinga and has been accused of by officials of opening these offices without the approval, and it is contrary to the ODM's party policies. And on the other hand, we have ODM chief who is set to attend a key KANU meeting this morning. Also, those who have been invited to this particular conference by KANU party leader, that is Gideon Moi. He has also extended an invite to Musalia Mudavadi, Kalonzo Musyoka, as well as Wetangula. And as per what experts say they expect Gideon Moi to declare his presidential bid at this particular conference. And given ODM leader is not invited just as any other attendant, but as the chief guest in this particular conference. So we'll see how that plays out once that conference is underway. But for now, we want to bring this particular segment to a close. Remember, this has been in the headlines, where we just have a look at what the papers have for us. But right now, we want to move on to all more that we have lined up for you. And of course, this being Entertainment Thursday. Ray, utatufungia hii maneno?
Kabisa. You know, when we mentioned that Thursday is a new Friday, I have a few of our viewers who are actually thinking that today is Friday. Well, can I say we shape opinions right here on KBC Channel 1 every morning, so to speak. So Thursday is a new Friday. We didn't say that you don't get to go to work tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday, but as far as we're concerned, Thursday is a new Friday. So Kinani Waimbu, we have Wanyonyi, Victor Wanyonyi Barasa, as well as Mombi Ireri, Barasa Enoch, Genesio Karaoke, Jega Shusha, Josephat Okindo, and Omondi Nyangla. Yes, Nyangla. Well, it's Thursday, but we're doing it the Friday way. So do keep it right here. Lots of entertainment coming your way.